Welcome to Scentonomics, guys. Today we're going to be reviewing Carven Pour Homme for Men by, obviously, Carven. And so anyway, it's this fragrance right here. It was launched in 2014 along with Carven Vetiver, with hopes to kind of revive the house because I guess they kind of, died out and went on a hiatus. So anyway, the idea was to add a little more elegance and sophistication. So Carven Pour Homme for Men was created by the famous Francis Kurkdjan and Patricia Choux. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering her name. I live in California and I took Spanish in high school, not French, so I apologize. Anyway, it's available in 3 sizes with one concentration, which is the EDT. So it comes in a 30 ml, a 50 ml, and the 100 ml. And the bottle I have right here is the 100 ml bottle. And that's a brief intro for Carven Pour Homme. And with that, let's move on to the presentation. So for the presentation for Carven Pour Homme, it comes in this nice, this little elegant black bottle right here. It's actually not all black. It's clear from the back and the sides. So, you can see it says Carven Pour Homme there. You can actually hold the bottle from the cap. However, I never recommend doing that. The metal silver cap right there. The flacon design is by somebody named Thierry de Bashkamov, and it's supposed to represent the tradition and heritage of the Carven brand, and it was created in a contemporary style. Like I said, the cap fits pretty well, but I don't ever suggest holding it only from any bottle, only from the cap. And the atomizer, let's see how it does. So it has a good distribution as far as and dispersion. It's good. It's okay. It's average. So anyway, that was my presentation for Carven Pour Homme by Carven. And with that, let's move on to the scent. So for the scent overall, I'm just going to briefly go over the notes. There's not too many. And actually, I don't have much to say about the scent. It's actually a pretty nice scent. So at the top, we have grapefruit and violet leaf. At the mid, we have cedar, sage, and nutmeg. And at the base, we have sandalwood and vetiver. And that's it for the notes. It's not a lot of notes. It's actually, 1, 2, 3, there's only 7 notes. So that's actually perhaps an interesting thing because Francis Kurkdjan is able to make an interesting fragrance with just that many notes. So I highly recommend this if you're heavily into like clean, sharp, fresh aroma type fragrances. The only thing is that this one has violet leaf as a very dominant note, but it's not like overpowering. So if I say violet leaf a lot in this review, please don't get scared. It's not like the only thing you're going to smell. So anyway, if you're into those type of fragrances, then I highly recommend this. It would be good for like an everyday office wear scent. If you're like a businessman, you're dressed up in a nice dress shirt or like a, like a basic semi-casual or semi-formal type, like what people normally wear to work. Okay, so I guess if that's kind of, what you have on, this would be a great scent for those situations. The dry down, after the top and the mid, which is like very, very sharp and very, very fresh. Once you get to the dry down is woody and actually very soft, all things considered. And I think it would be very impressive if somebody had this on for like, if they were going on like a date for dinner or something like that, just having a nice meal with somebody, it's like some private affair of that sort. So I think, this is a good scent. It's nice, sharp, clean. It does what it set out to do. So from that perspective, I think the scent's nice. And so with that being said, let's move on to the rating. So for the rating, as far as uniqueness and distinction goes, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It's actually not that unique. I mean, when I first smelled this, I was like, you know what? It smells familiar, but I just can't put my finger on it. It's one of those fragrances. All right. The violet leaf in it does make it a little bit unique, but not like, oh my God, what is this? It's not one of those fragrances. It's okay. It's good. For performance and longevity, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think this thing lasts on my skin for 6 to 7 hours, which for a fresh scent, I think it's good. All right. For projection and sillage, I give it a 7 out of 10. It projects well for the first hour and a half, and then after that sits closer to the skin, but people can still smell it if they're within, like, your scent space or your scent bubble. So that was for projection and sillage. For versatility, it's going to lose some points because I don't think this can be worn in all seasons and in every occasion. So let's start with the basic thing first. In a climate controlled environment, you could probably pull this off every day in all 4 seasons. I don't think it's a winter scent at all. If you're going to wear it outside in like some nice, like a cold weather area. For me, I live in the Bay Area in California, and so we really don't have much of a winter. Um, so I guess, you could probably pull it off during the daytime if you're in that type of climate. For the summertime and springtime, during the day, there's a great fragrance. If it's windy, then I don't know. In the fall, I guess you could pull it off in the fall too. I see this as more of like a semi-formal slash casual, dress scent. I think women can pull it off too if they really wanted to, although it is, they advertise it mostly for men. So I don't see it completely as the unisex fragrance, but I don't think people should be held back just by who the advertisers decide need to buy, their fragrances. But with that being said, I talked about, the seasons. I talked about the dress style that perhaps it can be worn with, the occasions. I think it makes for a great work scent, which I already mentioned earlier when I was discussing it in the scent segment. So with that, I think, it deserves the score that it gets. I wish it was had a little more, where if it was something you can wear formally, that would be great. But I don't think people can pull this off in formal occasions or if they're dressed up super nice. So that's why for versatility, it gets, the score that it got. For compliment factor, I'm going to give this 7 out of 10. People will like how it smells, but it's not going to like blow them away. I've worn it. People said, "Oh, well, it smells pretty nice," but that. I mean, yeah, I take whatever feedback I get, but it's not like people stop me and say, "Oh my God, what are you wearing? I have to buy it. Where'd you get it from?" It wasn't one of those fragrances. So for the compliment factor, again, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. For the presentation, I like how the bottle looks. I mean, it comes, I've talked about it in the presentation segment, but just look at this design. I mean, I like it. Overall, it's a good scent, or a good bottle, rather. So presentation again, but again, that doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it just for the bottle and have it sit out and people are gonna ask me, "Oh my God, that's such a cool bottle." It's not something like that. It's just nice. So for that, I give it a 7 out of 10 for the presentation. For the Scentonomic factor, I was an idiot, admittedly, and I bought it at Nordstrom for actual retail price, which was probably I spent around, I bought it in how long ago? 2015 summertime. So I must have spent like around $70, $80 for this, which was a really dumb, stupid move. So don't do that. If you can find this on one of the discounter websites or off of Facebook or something like that from another person, yeah, go ahead and do it. But I don't think this is worth more than, let's say, $55. So for the 100 ml. So if you can find it for around that price or less, maybe, yeah, sure, go for it. But otherwise, I don't know. So all things considered, for the Scentonomic value and factor, with the the price range, the performance, and all that taken into account, for the Scentonomic factor, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So for the overall score for this fragrance, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a good fragrance. It does what it set out to do. It's meant to be a nice, fresh smelling fragrance. It has a classy look to the bottle, for what you could possibly pay for if you got it at a good price. It does what it needs to do. I don't think this is a bad fragrance by any means. So with that, that's my review on Carven Pour Homme by Carven the House. And, please let me know your thoughts on this. I plan to review the intense version, the white bottle. And I know there's a green bottle out there, the Vetiver one. So please comment down below. Let me know what you think is a better one of the three. I don't have the green one. These are the only two bottles I have, this one and the white one, the intense one. So hopefully I'll review that sometime in the near future. So anyway, please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this fragrance, and please like the video. And I always appreciate everybody's support and their good words. So that's that. Also, please hope that I am, pray for me that I'm regular in maintaining my videos. I know I've been absent for a really, 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 really long time. I was just really busy with work, and being a teacher, it kind of takes up a lot of my time, grading and things like that. It's not an excuse, but again, I apologize. I'll try to be a little more regular in the future, and in the upcoming months. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody's encouragement and support. And with that, I'm going to sign off. This is Nabil from Scentonomics, where every cent counts.